Okay, cool. So basically, this is what I've been working on the last couple days, just to try and get them like a base plate to work off of. It's just a quick little RPG thing. You have the attacks UI, you have the item UI. You can change between items, whatever, confirm, and it uses up the turn as well. Um, and so obviously there's no AI over here, so it's just a UI simulator really. um, but yeah, main idea here is just to teach you. Another thing too is the health bars. Normally when you, I'll do this real quick. Normally when you actually make a, let's see, sprite, not tile map, sprite. Let's make a square. Let me show you this quick. When you make a sprite and you scale it up and then try to scale it down, um, it'll go from both sides. But if you do this, let me grab. If you create an empty anchor and then drag your square underneath it, and then let me get anchor. Where are you at? Okay, so I need to line up 0, 0. Boom. What happened there? Okay, I guess it, oh yeah, because it needs to be put on the pixel art. Right, okay. If we do, let me get, rotation. Let me get this over here to the side. Let's see. Just get that a little bit back over. Okay. And so if we now take this anchor and scale it, it'll only scale from one side because it scales the object as a whole. And so that's a very simple but important part of making a health bar is obviously you don't want it scaling down from both sides because if I grab this square again and adjust the scale of that, that's going to scale from both sides. And so what we'd want to do is we'd want to access this anchor point basically with a script somehow, and we'd want to scale that instead. And I'll teach you that in a little bit with or how to do the code behind that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and start off. Let's go ahead and open a new project. Obviously, we're gonna have to wait a little bit for this. But 2D, and I'm just gonna call this UI project or UI demonstration for you guys. You have to excuse my cough. I'm just getting over something, which is why we didn't have the meeting last week. Let's see. You know what I think happened too? I think I overpinged. I think people might have muted. Okay, I'm gonna have to change that. I'm gonna have to. What is it? Encourage people to not mute the active member. I'll have to do at here. I think. Do I want to? I don't know if I want to do that though. Make sure you have your project opening while we're waiting here. Otherwise, it's gonna take extra long. In the meantime, let me see. Like I was saying, let me see if I can get. Honestly, Alec is online. Let's get a DM going. Wabi, Andrew, and S1's offline. Who else is online? Can someone help me? I'm not gonna get Christopher because Christopher's on his phone. Let's see if I can grab Josh C. Not Joseph Stalin. Okay, jeez. Oh man, it's because he's using his nickname. Kenneth said he can't make it. Okay. I guess I'll leave it be then. That's the thing. I'm gonna have to reschedule the meetings because Gavin can't make it during these times anymore. I don't know why, but he always has something going on. Usually Saturdays, and then Kenneth also. Okay, that's good information though. Yeah, I got you. I'll help out. Mr. Coffee, I think his name. There we go. True. Do you mind doing that? I would call him, but okay, thanks. Cool. All right, and this is gonna take a second. Hopefully, you guys' projects are getting open. We're getting close to there. In the meantime, I'm going to go back to explaining the other half of things here. So a lot of this is just managing the art assets with regards to, I have like, so for one, this background is a tile map, but the actual thing we're going to focus on is the UI sprites here. Let me scroll up for these guys. And so when we actually make the, let's see, I have my guys separated here. So this is the UI canvas I have working. I've actually disabled all these UI elements, but what they are basically just these little drop downs that I showed you earlier. And so we have the character select, the action select, and then we have the enemy select container I have here, which is that little enemy icon you can click. Then we also have this item select container, which you can arrow back and forth between items. And it'll actually change the texture. And so, let's see. Another thing I'm doing is, or going to show you guys, is making a UI manager so that when we click things, for one, we have the different scripts and also the different images for these guys. So like, here's the character buttons themselves that have the reference. And then also, I want to teach you guys how to do some on hover and like, basically to update your script based on when it's like you're hovering over a button or something. And so what I have is this event checking script along with a reference to a another script that moves this arrow that you might have seen when I was playing it a second ago. Let me see if I can load this up. My computer's working hard. Oh yeah, okay. I don't know how long I can record for because I don't have a graphics card on this machine, but I'll keep it going as long as I can. So another thing as well is that you guys might recognize mono behavior, which is the behavior that allows you to attach the scripts to game objects. But there's also these iSelect handler and pointer enter handler, which basically allow you to do these two methods, which is the onSelect. It'll say that once you've selected an option, it'll you can activate some sort of script. For me, I'm just moving the arrow here, and then for the pointer enter, which is basically when you're hovering over it with the mouse instead of like, because once you click it, it gives you the option to arrow key around. And so instead, pointer enter is with your mouse, basically. What else am I going to be teaching you guys? Obviously, of course, how to use buttons if you haven't already figured that out. How to move some sort of selection icon. Oh, yes. And also how to make your buttons scale, or not buttons, but UI scale properly. Because if you say, let me do this. Let me grab this UI element real quick. If we drag this in here, and then we scale this, let's say just that direction, you can see it stretches pretty badly. But if we go here into this, let's go into here. No, I don't want to open up that. I'll be teaching you how to make it so that it stretches nicely. Here, I'll drag this one up. This one is done correctly, I believe. Or not. Oh, yeah, it's because it's related to the UI. So I need to have it in a UI object for it to scale properly. That's why. But I'll be showing you that so that it scales nicely like this. Because if you see, if I drag this up here, this is the same element. And if I drag this like way out here, you can see obviously it's stretching like that, and versus over here, it's not stretched like that. And so I'll show you how to fix that so it doesn't stretch. Hopefully your projects are now open. There we go, mine's open. If you give me like a quick thumbs up in the channel here. Oh, let's go. Okay. Yeah, if you can, just give me like a thumbs up reaction here, something like that. That would be golden if you have a, an active Unity project.
It's a blank project, right?
What's up? Sorry.
Just a blank project, or a
just a blank project. Okay. Here, I'll show you. This is literally what I have. I just have a blank scene, and I just named it UI demonstration. You guys can name it whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, either in general or in this reactions channel, that'd be awesome. Also check out the task manager. Yeah. 74% utilization. Okay. Good, that's also running. If I could, would one of you give me an update where you're at right now? I think Michael said he had his scene open. Yeah. Do you guys also have a blank scene open of some kind? Or if you're not following along, that's fine. Just let me know. Whether or not I need to wait for you. No worries. All right. In the meantime, let me find something to talk about. um, I guess for the new people who've just joined us, I'll go ahead and play it through. So I had summoned Andrew here because I tried to make this lesson very much related to their JRPG they're trying to do. And the next one about AI, I'm going to try and relate to your isometric game if I can, Michael.
Okay.
And so hopefully we can learn about that. But it's just a quick little UI demonstration, basically. There's no enemy attacks, but basically it's just you can scroll through the items, you can confirm an item, and once you use it, it blanks out this guy. Also, you see this arrow down here, which follows the mouse, and also the option that you choose. Of course, and then I have this little I made a very janky little once the enemy dies, it just swaps out for another sprite. And so yeah. Again, I will be releasing all the code on GitHub, so no worries if you don't get it completely right, but at the same time, if you do have questions, I do recommend that you're trying to follow along. Anyway, I'm going to go back in. Let's see. Where are you guys at with your scene? How's it going, Irving? Nice to have you.
Yep.
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I'm following along just fine.
Sweet. How many of you have your blank project open right now? I know Irving just joined us, so I understand he's got to open that. Let me know. I know Malcolm, give me a thumbs up. Are you guys still loading? All right. Yeah. Let me try and see. What else can we explain here? I'll explain this again, actually, because I had just gone over this with the people who were here a little bit earlier. But normally what happens when you take out a square and you try and scale it for a health bar like this. Here, let me scale this up. So let's say we have our nice little health bar here. And we want to make it lower as the health gets taken away. Well, we try and scale it down, and it scales from both sides. And so the way we fix that actually is by creating an empty object. And I'm just going to drag this under here. If we go, this is 0, 0. 0, 0. Cool. Okay. And if I drag this over to where the edge of the health bar matches the center point of the anchor point, then I scale just the anchor point, then we have a health bar that scales from just one side. And we can actually do something called math f.clamp, which will clamp it between whatever health value you want and then 0. So we can't go negative like this, which obviously helps out a lot because then we have UI leaks. Let me see, what else do we have? Right, okay. And then so also, when you want to enable UI elements, disable them, when you want to gray out buttons, also sort of like an event manager for those buttons so that you know when you've selected the characters and what the characters are doing, things like that. I'm going to mainly focus on the UI. I'm probably going to skip a lot of the functionality because this took me 6 hours to build and I got to teach it in basically 2 hours. So even shorter than that actually, because some of you are not available for the full time, which I totally understand. Don't worry about it, but does definitely make it a challenge to make sure everyone gets the content they need. So what are we looking at with those blank scenes being open? Are we still loading? Malcolm, Michael, and I believe who else is giving me a thumbs up? Okay, Esteban's good. Malcolm's giving me a thumbs up before. And then Andrew, where are we at? All right, do you have a blank scene open?
Yep.
Cool. Not gonna give me double thumbs up. Okay. Irving, do you have like just a few more seconds on the loading time, or what's are you trying to follow along?
I'm just like looking. I'm not really interested in
That's
coding. I'm just doing like audio and music. I think.
Gotcha.
I've
Don't
explained
worry
in
about
one
it
of the
then. Don't worry about
chats.
it. Yeah, we have an artist here as well who's just here for the spectator. Here to spectate. So no worries at all. Okay. So I guess let's get this started then. I'm gonna go ahead and move my hierarchy over here. Again, doesn't matter, just a preference for me. And let's start. Let's actually start by first of all, let's make sure everyone opened a 2D project, right? It's not that important, but it does have a few things that you're gonna want. We can start with, let's see. Let's just do the normal UI first. Let's grab. Actually, let me go into the scene. Let me grab you guys these assets and let me teach you how to do pixel art if you're or get the pixel art imported correctly if you already weren't here for the other ones. I'm gonna put this in workshop code. Oop. It's a unity.ignore file. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and upload from SPC, me, users, me, and JRPG, UI demo, assets, art. There we go. Okay. Go ahead and send that to you guys, and also go ahead and send. Let me see if I can search up UI. Okay, there we go. So go ahead and grab both those images, and I'll teach you how to go ahead and separate those out. Actually, shoot. Let me instead, I just realized, because the way this is spaced, I couldn't divide it into a spreadsheet. Let me actually send you a file. I might have to do a Google Drive upload real quick. Let me do that. Keep getting that. Let me do this real quick. Here we go. Okay, download that instead of this image. Sorry. That's gonna be a zip file. You might take a second to unzip, but what that'll do basically is it'll give you, instead of just the tile set where you'll have to manually do it, it gives you all the individual assets. Which will help out. Okay. Oh, and I gotta grab this too. Hold on. Make sure you guys get all the art here. Gotta love file digging. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Last asset. So go ahead and download all that if you can. Yeah, I was thinking about that, but So I do actually have a GitHub, and I send out my GitHub afterwards. The issue with just having everyone work on one what is it repository is that, for one, I have to make sure the editor version is consistent. If they don't have the editor version, they have to install it anyway.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
And then also, if they fork off in different branches, or if someone doesn't do that and messes up accidentally, then it breaks the code.
Yeah.
So I'd prefer to send out just the blocks of code themselves and into that chat for them to copy. But no, yeah, I was like trying to think of a better way to do this. Yeah, okay. Let me know if you guys have all that then. Let me go back there. And then just let me know if you have it downloaded. That's all I'm looking for right now. Is just you have it the file unzipped. You have the rest of the stuff downloaded, and then I'll teach you how to import it properly if you don't know already. Okay, thumbs up from Malcolm. Has everyone else got their files downloaded? Don't worry about importing into Unity yet. I'll show you that real quick. Just so long as you have the files unzipped and downloaded. Cool, that's Esteban. We got Michael. And then Andrew, how are we looking?
Good.
All right, cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on then. So let me go ahead. If you go to your blank project, and either middle mouse button, or for me on the touchpad here, it's double click. And you want to, import new assets. Actually, sorry, before we do that, we should probably make a folder. It's just a good practice to keep our project organized here. We go to create, and then it's just the top for us to make a new art folder. I'm just going to open that, and we can now import all the new assets. Okay. Let me go a little bit slower for there. So again, I made a folder, and then I'm just going to import new assets here. Just double click or middle mouse button an empty space in the folder here. And I'm looking at import new asset, which is right by import package and also view package manager. I'm going to go ahead and grab from my own project. Yours will probably be in downloads. But I can grab this UI RPG UI demo. There we go. Okay, let me grab the arts folder that I have in here. I'm just going to go ahead and import all of this. And then we're just going to give that a minute. If anyone was a little bit confused by that, please let me know, because it's not too difficult to explain. I just kind of assumed that you guys understood the file explorer. That's fine. Yeah, you probably won't have all these purple sort of icons here. That's just because the way I imported it was probably not the best, because I imported directly from project. Let's see here. So then let me know when you're there, when you have your assets imported now. Or again, if you're confused and you need explanation. Cool, we got a thumbs up. I believe that's a thumbs up from Malcolm in general. Yep. All right, and then how you looking, Michael and Andrew?
Good.
All right, cool.
I'm following along just fine.
Say again, Andrew.
I'm following along just fine.
Cool. Okay. So now we have that. I'm gonna go ahead. Let me see. Right. Let's go ahead and start with our UI. So we're gonna go ahead and go into our hierarchy. We're gonna make our scroll down to UI, and then we're gonna make ourselves a. Let's do. We just have to make ourselves a canvas first. So I'm gonna go ahead and make ourselves a canvas, and that'll come along prepackaged with this event system. I'm just gonna go ahead and drag it. It's just an invisible object with a script attached, so I'm just gonna drag it into the canvas. And so once we're there, I'm gonna wait a few seconds for you guys to make sure. We just went down here, made UI, canvas, down at the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and click on canvas now, and let's actually get ourselves a. Let's start off with. Let me see here. I'm gonna start with a panel. And the first thing I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna get rid of this background image. So I made a panel inside canvas, and I'm gonna go ahead inside the inspector now, and then I'm gonna remove the background image. So just click on it and press delete. I think backspace might also work. And all it does is instead of making it that sort of curved square background, it's just gonna make it a perfect square. And the only reason I want that is because I'm going to put an overlay over it, which will make it look nice, like I did in the other project here with the, scroll down, we have this little black pixel border. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and set a nice little, like, sort of canvas color. Let's see if we can find one. First of all, actually, alpha here needs to be set up. Find... That's a nice canvas color. Okay. So we have we should have a, what is it, like a canvas colored rectangle now for all of us here in this sort of bottom corner of our canvas. Just make sure we're all there. All right, Esteban's good. See if I can't get one more thumbs up. If not, please let me know. All right, I'll go over it just real quick to make sure. We made the canvas. We went down to UI again. We made this panel. We clicked on the panel, opened it in Inspector, clicked on the source image, deleted that, so it wasn't a source image. Then we changed the color to it to a nice canvas color. And then I'm going to go ahead and now let's add a nice overlay to it. So I'm going to go ahead and add another UI element. This time I'm going to do an image because I want to add our sprite. And I'm just going to call this, what is it? Let's call this border. And then we can go, once we have our image, we can go into Inspector. And then we'll see this, we have an image here with no sprite. We're going to go into our art folder. So I'm going to wait for people to get there actually because we're going to sort of change gears here. Because now we need to prepare some art assets. So I'm going to grab, what you can do actually is if you do have all these purple boxes, you can just shift click from the top to the bottom and it'll say like, oh, you have all these selected. If you just click the one you want to have selected, which in my case is this 250 or 45 texture 2Ds, I can click on that and it'll bring me just the textures. So I'll do that again. If you click one spot, go to the very top, and then click the shift click the top, it'll give you an option to click just the texture 2Ds. It'll say narrow down the selection, and you can go ahead and do that. What I'm gonna do is first off, I'm gonna do let's do filter mode. So that's gonna be under wrap mode, just above that little like boxy area where it has the max size. There should be something called filter mode, and we want to change that to point. That'll make it proper pixel art instead of because if you dragged out one of those assets, it would have just showed up as a really like crunchy compressed version of that. We're also going to do compression none, which is inside that little like gray box. right above the apply button, like genuinely down by the bottom of the inspector window here. And then once we have our filter mode set to no filter and also our compression set to none, we can go ahead and just apply that. Give it a minute. Ta-da! And now what we'll notice is our pixel art is no longer crunchy. So if I go ahead and scale this up real quick. How big can I make this thing before it shows up? I'm just going to scroll into this thing. Gosh dang. Anyway, point is, we now have cool pixel art. Hurrah. Alright. So if we go to... I'll give you a minute to get that all done. Let me know where you guys are at right now. Did we track that well? Or should I go back and figure that out?
Did you tell us which sprite in particular you wanted attached to the panel yet, or did we just
No,
have
not
the
yet.
blank
Because there's a few more things. There's a few more things we have to do actually.
Okay.
Let me actually find that image because that's where we're gonna go next. Is this pixel art UI borders? But before I do that, let me make sure. Michael, sounds like you're good. Can you get another thumbs up from someone to make sure we're all on the same page? Okay, that's Esteban. All right, I'm gonna consider us good to go. Please stop me if we're not here. All right, so we have our pixel UI borders. It was very clearly misspelled. It's PXIEL instead of PIXEL. But basically what we want to do with this is instead of having a single sprite mode, we're going to change this to multiple. So just to make sure, we've clicked on this image called Pixel Art UI Borders, and we're going to go to the inspector window and change it from single to multiple. We're also going to change this pixels per unit to 32. Then we can go ahead and just apply that, which is down at the bottom. And so just to make sure, we should have our sprite mode set to multiple, our pixels per unit set to 32, and we've applied it. Once we're there, I'll give you guys about 5-6 seconds. Sorry, I had to send a message. And we're going to go ahead and click on this nice button called Sprite Editor. That was really quick. I was hoping it would take a second. So Sprite Editor right here. If we click on that, it'll open up this nice fancy window for us. It'll also flash us in the eyes. And we can do I'm going to do an automatic slice. So we just click this little button up here. I'll give you guys a minute to open this window, make sure we're all there. If you don't know what I just clicked, please let me know. Because this Sprite Editor window is going to be a huge help to us. All right, I'm gonna assume we're gonna need to go back for that. Sorry. So if we have the UI image selected, I'm assuming you guys have made the changes and maybe just you're confused about the Sprite Editor. Just open up the Sprite Editor. It's this button right below Generate Physics and Extrude Edges, Mesh Type. It's right above Advanced as well. We have the pixels per unit set to 32, and our sprite mode is multiple. And that sprite mode is right below texture type, which is at the very top. All right, let's see. Okay, there's a thumbs up, and I think we got another thumbs up. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. You know what actually might help is if one of you even just streaming the screen, I can know where things are going wrong. It might be helpful that way. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and open the Sprite Editor, which is this, like I said before, that button right below Generate Physics here. And I'm going to click this Slice button here, and I'm going to just slice it automatically. It's right in this top corner, right next to Sprite Editor. It's Slice. And that'll give us some sort of wonky things here. And we don't really want those wonky things. So this one did it correctly. You'll see if you click on these actual images, it'll show you where how it's broken it up. And so it's kind of smart, but it's also kind of dumb because sometimes it understands where the bounds of things are. But as you can see with this one, it's kind of chunked it up into like 5 separate little things. And so we're going to fix this one. Let's just go ahead and click on it. Click on this one on the side. I'm going to delete that with the delete key. Go up here, delete that with the delete key. Same over here. Just grab this main one, and I'm going to stretch this back out over this. If I And let's do this as well. And you as well. Cool. Okay. So that one's correct. I'm just going to delete this one because we're not going to use this one down here either. Okay. Let me scroll back up here. Okay, cool. So we can go ahead and we could apply this, and I'll show you what happens if we just do that. If we just apply that, it'll be nice for us because it'll break it up. And if I drag this in here, you can actually see it's a nice image. It's been correctly cropped. But if I actually go over here and I say, let's stretch this, you'll see it actually does kind of stretch it, right? It's not exactly perfect. It's not, what is it? It's not nice and square like it was before. So I'm going to go and delete that. And I'll show you how to fix that. Because the way we want to do, or fix that, sorry, let me also make sure. Yeah, okay, good. If we go to Sprite Editor again, is we want to divide this into 32 by 32 chunks. So the way we can do that is, I believe, if we just go to this thing down here where it says like all these, the details of all these things, and we set this to, let's see, just the, let's actually grab just the green borders. We want to make this 32 and 32. So we should have our border, it should say L is 32 and R is 32. We're going to do the same for vertically. We're going to make this 32 and that 32. Oh, let's drag the blue border as well. Make sure you're grabbing just the green border when you do that. And so all these numbers down here, left, right, top, bottom, should all be reading out as 32. Let me actually fix that. That's 33. And so you should actually have like a nice little green grid in here. And I'll show you why that's important, because it's going to fix our issue. I'm going to go ahead and apply that. And let me make sure everyone here is on the same page. I'll watch Michael's. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, you're going to have a nice little green grid like Michael's starting to have here. Oh, and then, yeah, that's what I had too. Make sure the blue border doesn't get dragged when you do that. If you can try and avoid that. If it gets stuck, what you can do is, okay, perfect. I would say, if it gets stuck like that though, what you can do is you can just grab the blue border, stretch it out, and then bring it back in. It's just a simple way to fix that. Make sure that all those numbers are reading up 32. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to assume, I'll actually, here, let me see real quick. Let me see if you guys are all good. Can I get a thumbs up from someone else to make sure? Cool, that's Esteban. I think we're gonna move on. Please, again, let me know if any of you are falling behind. I'm trying to keep trying to get you guys to learn. That's the point, right? Okay. Anyway, so it should look something like this. If you've hit the apply button already, it should be up in this top corner. And so that's gonna render out as it'll render as one single image, but what it'll do is allow us to divide it nicely. So when we go back to our image, where's this border? There we go. We should be able to, trying to remember here. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and drag in this image. So I'm going to say pixel UI. I'm going to grab that. There we go. Okay. So now we have our image in there. You could do it two ways. You can grab this image right here and drag it in, or you can grab the border and then say click this little like plus button down here and find it with the search bar. The thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this image type, let's see, tiled. It's very important that we make this a tiled image. And so that's under just under raycast padding, where it's the maskable and fill center. So if we go out, cool. So now what we'll notice actually is if we scale this guy up, or not, hold on. Oh, right here. So I believe I have to make this, did I not set the pixels correctly on this? Trying to remember. Okay. So let me go back to this. If we go ahead and go to the border, we should be able to. Maybe it's because I'm adjusting. No, it's still trying to stretch. Let me see real quick. It should be tiled down here. Let me go and go back in mine and make sure this is right. It will stretch a little bit, but it shouldn't stretch as nearly as much as it is stretching. Let's see. Okay, that's the thing I'm using. Okay, so that's all correct. Let me go make sure it's correct in here as well. I think that's what I did. Is so, in order to fix it stretching so much, is I made the pixels per unit 9, and I think that just made it nicer. So if I go back here, let me grab you. I'm gonna set pixels per unit 9 instead of 32. And that should give us a little bit better results. So if I grab border, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can't stretch this out. Actually, let me do. Still, scaling is not on my side. It's so funky. Okay, I'll have to figure that out. What's
On
up?
the actual asset, I had to go and change the mesh type from tight to full
Gotcha.
rect.
That would probably be it. Yeah, thanks. Okay, let's see that. Let's see if it's happy with us. Thank you, by the way.
Yep.
Still mad at me, but it looks a little bit better, I will say. It's fine. We'll run with it. I'll come back to that and we'll be like, hey, I did this wrong. This is how you can fix it. Hopefully that'll be maybe it's also because I'm adjusting. No, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and fit that to my canvas. It's showing up stretch. Maybe if I play it, it'll look nice. Let me see. Hold on.
My panel is huge.
No, it's still ugly. Oh. Maybe no. It's still not happy. Okay. Alright, well I'm gonna go ahead and make this like, let's see. I'm gonna fit this. There we go. It's about 100, 100 for me. Okay, there you go. It's 1100 by 450 for me. I'm gonna go ahead and go down to panel, and I'm gonna now fit this correctly to this guy down here. And then what I can do is I can scale it down. Ooh, sit down. There we go. Okay, and then we can get that guy in the corner there. I'm also going to adjust the scaling so it looks a bit nicer. Nope. Let's try that. Okay, that looks nice. All right. Bring it to the bottom corner. Okay, cool. So we've kind of got some nice UI. I don't know why that wasn't scaling. I will say it looks a lot better. I think it was just because I had stretched it too much. It was getting mad at me. Okay. But let me see if you guys are there. Let me make sure you guys are all in the right spot. That's the wrong window. This is the right window. Cool. Okay, so you guys are just scaling it down still. Okay, cool. I'll go back over the step in a second. My Apple Watch is yelling at me. It's saying it's time to stand. All right. All right. Cool, cool. And then, are you having an issue? Do you actually have your pixel art, but it's behind it or something? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the way you fix that is just go to this and make sure I believe there might be two solutions actually. Let me see. Okay, no. Um, and so the way I've done this is I've taken the panel and made the border a child of the panel, um, and that should make sure that that it comes out as on top.
What do I have going on too? Actually, it might be showing up. It might just be. I think my panel is ridiculously huge.
Yeah, scroll in. Oh no, it's getting covered.
Yeah.
I will say that's weird. So it's scaled like it tiled correctly, but it's super small. Weird. Okay, it's alright. Yeah, can I see your hierarchy? Let me see if that's why. Because I believe it works in order of. Okay, no, you do have a child. Click on the pixel art real quick. Is that and then go into inspector. Oh, that's why. So don't use a sprite render. Use a UI image, because
There you go.
otherwise it's gonna always render below the UI because of the way that the camera works.
Okay.
There's two ways to render UI. You can render it in world or as a zeroth like plane of distance from the camera. And so when you do it zeroth plane of different distance from the camera, it'll always overlap whatever's behind the player's camera.
Okay. So I should add
Yeah, so go here. I'll show you again. So if you go to UI and create in let's see, it's image at the top here, I believe.
Okay.
And then and I just named that border, and then it's the same thing as a sprite render. It's just a UI element instead of a actual sprite render.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Give him a few seconds, but I'm gonna assume everyone's sort of in the same
There you
place where they're almost ready. Cool.
Hey, thanks for giving me a call so quick.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and let's see what we want to do as the next step. I'm gonna actually get some buttons up. So I'm just gonna go to UI and grab the button text mesh pro. If you don't have that, do let me know. I'm gonna go ahead and import these. Yeah, okay, good. And that's just gonna make it so we have good text basically. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. It's actually fine that this isn't canvas. I'm gonna make a panel actually, and I'm gonna name this character select container. I'll make sure I made that clear. So I made both a panel, which is under raw image, and a button, which is next to scroll view, sorry, which is also Text Mesh Pro. Make sure you're doing the Text Mesh Pro variant because the way we're going to set the text is going to be a little bit different if we do a different button type. So I'm going to go ahead, drag this up and out, okay, and then I'm going to make the button a child of the character select container. I'm going to go ahead and change this color to 0 alpha so it's invisible. It's just going to be a container. It's not going to be visible because we just want the buttons to be visible. And first thing we can do with this button is actually delete the text because we just want the character. And so let me also shrink this down. I'm going to set the width and height of my button to 30 by 30. And then I'm going to wait for you guys because that was a lot of steps. So just again, I made a UI, button and a UI panel. Then I made the button a child of the panel, which means I just dragged it over the object, which makes it a child. You'll see because it indents it. I took my panel and I set its color value to have 0 alpha, which is just the A channel down here. And then I went back up here to button, and there's normally a drop down here which has a text feature, and I deleted that text feature because we just want an image. last thing I did is set the scaling to 30 by 30 for the width and height. We can go ahead and I'm gonna grab. Let's actually find. Let's see in assets. Let's grab a paladin. I'm gonna have this NPC underscore paladin. I'm gonna drag him in, and he's not gonna sit there. And I'm gonna again wait for you guys because let me see where Michael is. Okay, cool. Yeah. So go real quick. I deleted the text element for the button. I made the size of the button 30 by 30 for width and height. And then I changed the source image to NPC underscore paladin. The source image is down here in the inspector window, right above the button and underneath the canvas renderer. I'm just going to drag him into place for the time being. I might actually make him smaller. Let me see what this UI looks like on play mode real quick. I might make some things bigger or smaller. Okay, yeah, that's pretty small. I want to make my UI bigger. Give me a second. Let's see. Is that correct? Yes. See what I need to do scaling. Cool. That looks about right size for me. Alright, cool. I'm going to drag my paladin button back up. I'm just going to do two characters because we really only need 2 characters to demonstrate. So I'm going to only make 2 buttons. I'm just going to copy this, Control C, Control V, right in the same place. And I'll rename both of these to, I'm going to say character button 2 and character button 1. And it just helps to have it named this way to understand where you're pulling things from, because you're going to reference these in scripts and you'll need to have them serialized. So if you just have button and you're trying to find which button is which, it's kind of not ideal. Let me go ahead and check on Michael. Gotcha. Okay, so he says he's still sending the paladin. I'll slow down for you guys. We'll go ahead and change this up though. Cool, we got the button. And then yeah, make it. I wouldn't. What I'd do is actually just make a copy of your button you've already made because it'll be faster that way. Because if you make a new button, it'll make you do all the things you did for the first button again. So yeah, you can just copy it and paste it. And then I renamed my buttons to character button 1 and character button 2. Yeah, you can just drag whatever NPC. It doesn't have to be a paladin. Okay, cool. Let me see where you guys are at. Are we all in the same place as Michael right now, where we have both buttons? Or are we still behind here? I got a thumbs up. Esteban. Okay. And then Andrew and Malcolm, where are you guys at? Especially if you're behind, I'd rather have you, or I'd rather spend the time to get you caught up so that you can understand when we actually get to the code, because that's a real important part for you guys, is the code behind all this. Okay, that's a thumbs up from Malcolm, I believe.
One of my panels is like not displaying properly anymore. Do you
Let me
have any
see.
idea
Yeah.
what I did wrong?
Okay, it's hard to see because it says the sprite is none. It's hard to there you go. Okay.
Oh, it's coming back. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Weird.
Yes.
Too small.
Oh, you know what you might have done? So go to your, what is it? rect transform. Also, I'm kind of curious. Does my Discord share screen also jump around in Unity, or is it stable?
Yours is fine.
Okay.
Does mine jump around?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just because you're sharing the window and not your entire screen, though. I'm sharing my entire screen, so I think that's
Okay.
the difference. Don't worry about it. Yeah, no, I can still tell what's going on, so it's not a big deal at all. I'm gonna say, I'm thinking what's happening there is you probably have maybe your anchor set points set differently. So these anchor points, anchor the UI to based on like their distance from
Yeah.
corners or whatnot. So I guess maybe make sure those are aligned, and that might fix your problem.
I just made my view window bigger and it fixed it, so I have no idea
Okay, yeah.
what I did wrong.
Well, because the UI scale. So here, go to where it says panel. You see that stretch where it says stretch and stretch by left and the all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Click on that, and it should give you like a drop down of some options. Instead of saying stretch, just click the anchor preset to be the bottom left corner. So click on that, and it should give you. There you go. Yeah, that one. Yep. Okay. And so now one that'll no longer scale. And so it should be constant like that. If you try scaling down your window, and let's see this. Sorry, I don't mean that. I mean like scaling down your play window.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if you adjust the screen size, there you go. Perfect. Look at that. Okay. I will say, yeah, the buttons are going to be moving around, and that's because we haven't set the anchor for that properly yet. I'm going to go ahead and go into my character select container and also set the anchor to the bottom left, and that'll just make sure it's all aligned. All you have to do for that, if you have hopefully a parent panel, you could just set the parent panel to not stretch, and it should fix the rest of those buttons. Oh, all right. Oh, he already left. Okay. And what's up?
Just cool. It's working now.
Cool. All right. Let me get you guys a script in here now. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna grab this for you guys since we're gonna be running short on time, and I'll just explain it very briefly. And since it's recorded, I can show you guys a recording and hopefully get some. You guys will understand it better the more you are able to listen to it. Let's see. I'm gonna do event. I'm gonna grab event checking. And so event checking is just like it checks if you're hovering it with the mouse or what is it called? Or you have it selected with like you actually clicked on already. So this is event checking. Make sure to create a script object called event checking with the exact like case and everything of capital E, capital C, and then so here if you go into I made a scripts folder. For our sake, I'm just going to say if we create a C# script up here right below folder, and just copy the code I put in workshop right into there, and that should get you straight onto things here. And I'm going to also grab, once, hopefully you guys are able to grab that code. If that's not working or something, let me know. And then let me also grab, I believe that was event checking I just gave you guys. Let me give you a selection follower. Excuse me. And then also make sure the casing, the capital casing on the file name when you create that C# is the same, script is the same. Because it'll throw you an error if it says it's incorrect. I'm gonna go back to the edit project. I'm gonna go ahead and do that myself. If I go and create C# script, I'm gonna name this event checking. Double click on that. It'll open up this script for us. I'm gonna size mine down, and if I go to Discord again, grab all the code I just pasted for you guys, and we paste that in. It'll give us, it should give us no errors. Go in here. Oh, never mind. Here we go. Are you missing? directive or assembly reference. Not as far as I know. Why are you mad? Oh, because that's, I see. Because I implement selection follower. Yeah, there you go. Okay, I implement selection and follower, and I haven't put that script in. Okay, if we just go ahead and create both scripts, it'll be good and be happy. So if we go and do, let's see. It might actually get mad because there's probably a character in here. Let me see. Let me rename this to selection follower. Okay, cool. So we go in here, paste this code. There we go. Okay. So now it's no longer matters for selection follower. It's going to be metas for something else. No. Cool. Okay. And so what that does actually, I'm gonna go ahead and put for one. I'm gonna select both these buttons. I'm gonna add that script to them. Actually, I'll wait for you guys. You guys are probably not quite there yet. Let me see. Where are you guys at? I'm already watching stream. Okay. Yeah, let you guys get both your scripts in there. If it's mad at you, it's because the name of your C# script file is not the same as the name of the script itself. So if you go into where you've pasted your script in, make sure it has the same name. Got a thumbs up from Esteban. So just to clarify, if you have, when you go to make the files, you want to make sure you copy this name and you rename that file to what that script is, or the class is called, because it needs to inherit from MonoBehavior and it'll get mad at you basically. If we go to event checking as well, grab this name, and I'm going to rename this file as well, right? And all that does is just make sure that it's linked to this right file, as well as it'll get mad at you if it's the file name is different from the class name. So make sure those are right. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. So that looks good. I'm gonna give. Can I get another thumbs up? If not, let me know where I lost you. All right. Okay. So if we go ahead now, we can actually implement this. I'm going to go ahead and grab a new UI object. I'm going to call this one, I'm going to grab this one. It's just one, I just want text. I'm going to grab Text Mesh Pro from right below image. I'm going to call this one pointer follower. And it's just going to help communicate to the player where exactly are what options we've selected already or whatnot. And so if I go in here, I'm going to change this text to just a couple of like dash 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 arrows. Also, let me scale this down correctly. Oh, maybe not. Let me grab the text size. That's what's wrong. 18. There we go. Okay. While we're here with this, let's get ourselves the the text assets. Another thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and line this up actually. Let's see. Okay. Just make sure your text fits exactly in the size of your box that you've made. And the reason for that is because unfortunately, I was even trying to experiment myself with this, and I couldn't get the text to to show up or to not block the buttons. So the buttons get blocked by the text, and I've tried everything. I've changed the layers and everything. It just didn't want to work for whatever reason. Anyway, I'm gonna wait a minute for make sure you guys got all that. Okay, text. I change mine to a bunch of arrows, and then I just scale it down to the right size. I'm
Where do you
gonna
usually put the text in on a text project?
Yeah, Text Mesh Pro is genuinely just a little bit better. There's a lot more settings with it, as well as also you can change the font asset very easily. Are you asking
Where-
how?
Where do I actually put like
Oh, sorry,
text,
I misheard you.
text in it?
So you see that where it says Text Mesh Pro, like that blue little icon in the
Yeah.
inspector window?
Oh,
Yeah,
didn't
there you
have
go.
the-
It's
the-
yeah,
yeah.
it's tricking you. It's tricked you. It was tricking you to think of it as it was not there, but it's just closed. No. So if you open that, yeah, there you go. Perfect. All right. Yeah, and then just make sure the yellow box fits the text perfectly. And then I'm gonna actually, if you can, I would scale your font size down to 18 because 36 is just way too big for the UI.
yeah.
There you go. Okay, and that's much more approachable. You can even scale that down more if you want. It looks like your scaling is a little bit different from mine. Okay, cool. All right. Let me see if everyone else is there. Can we get some thumbs up around? Okay, that's Esteban. Okay. So now we have our little text as here. I'm gonna actually grab you guys a good text file for us, because it's gotta look pretty, right? Let me see. I'm actually just gonna give you the asset instead of giving you the font. I'm just gonna give you the actual Text Mesh Pro font asset instead of just the font itself. I think that should be fine, but it'll save you guys from a couple of steps. So. And also save us a bit of time, hopefully. Let me grab this PC, local disk, users, me, and text. I'll grab both. Both, but okay. And then let me copy that into. Cool. So I would recommend downloading just the SDF TMP and the TTF. You won't need just the SDF standalone. That's for normal text boxes, and we're not going to be using normal text boxes. We're going to be using Text Mesh Pro. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this project. Okay, and I will also be importing it. Asset. Cool. Okay, and so it looks like it's already imported for us nicely as well. And so all we're going to do with that is just find our text that we have here, and we're going to drag this blue little text Text Mesh Pro asset onto it, and that'll change it into this nicer looking dashes instead. It's just generic pixel font. I'm going to actually change the size of my text too, so it fits our box a little bit better. Let's do... really? Okay. I'll do 64, 36. The scalar thing back up. Okay. Cool. So hopefully you have... That's looking fancy. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move forward now. We can actually add ourselves the the scripts that we just added now. I'm gonna do event checking, or sorry, selection follower. Make sure you have the your arrows selected or your text object selected. I'm gonna add the selection follower. Now the thing is, I'm gonna grab the starting position for this from this rect transform from the X. I'm gonna plug that into this little thing down here that says new position. And so let me just show you that again. So from the rect transform, we have this number. Mine's negative 400 something, and I'm just gonna grab that and drag that into new position. All that does is just make sure that the starting position. Actually, sorry, no, I don't want to do that. I forgot I changed that. Sorry for giving you guys conflicting orders. What I remember I used to do that, but what I did is I made it so it's just the starting position of the UI. And the reason for that is because if your UI is scaling according to the screen size, then it's gonna mess it up. So like let's say right now it's at negative 400 something, but if I scale it up, it's gonna be negative like 600 something, and it'll try and still go to negative 400 something. And so if I just set it by default, or set it at start instead of from a variable, it'll actually scale with the UI. So that's the reason we do that. Let's see here. So that's actually all we need to do for that script is just put it on there, and it should be able to follow our pointers. What we do want to do though is we want to go to our buttons. I'm going to select both of them, and let's attach our other script. We want to attach event checking, and then we also want to grab our pointer follower and assign that to both of them. So just to make sure I grabbed both the buttons, and I added component, and I typed in or did the search for event checking and added those both on. And then I made sure that the arrow pointers were both the pointer follower script that we just added onto the pointer follower. So let's see. Let me see for this. I should be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and test this out real quick, because I believe this is actually not working, unless I've forgotten something. Yeah, but see, it's actually follows our. Mine's a little janky because it's a little bit off, but whatever. Point is that once we mouse over a button, it'll actually find it with the arrows. So let me see how you guys are coming along. Let's see. Cool, okay. Just doing that. And then so, just to clarify, once you have all the, all the buttons set, you should be able to play it, and it'll follow wherever your mouse cursor, or whatever button your mouse cursor lands on. So let's see. You've assigned all the event checkers, or all the selection follower to all the event checkers. And then I'm gonna, oh man, so much time just to get that set up. I'm gonna try and bang out a really quick health thing for you guys. Hopefully, okay, yours is also following. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this really quickly, unfortunately. I'll try and slow down for you guys. Let's see what we can do. So remember how I was saying about the health bar? So first thing we're going to want to do is create an empty object. I'm going to call this one health anchor. And then I'm going to grab it. I'm going to make two objects. I'm going to make two 2D sprite squares. Let me grab that. I'm going to call this, let's call this health bar. And we're going to make that a child of this. We're going to, there we go. And we're going to make another one. We're going to call this background. I'm going to select both of them. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see. Hold on. I'm going to scale this up to, let's just make it massive. Let's make it 20 health bar. I'll make this one green for the. I'll make both of them green, I guess, and then I'm gonna go back and make the other one gray for the background. And there we go. I'm gonna go and make this order and layer for the health bar 1, and that'll make sure that it always defaults above the gray health bar there.
Tell him Anchor was a panel.
No, so this is not a UI anymore. I'm using empty. I used an empty object for the health anchor, and then I'm using 2 sprites for the health bar background. And I'm just gonna drag the center screen because we're really just trying to see that it works. Let me grab. Let's see. Let me grab both of these. I want to make sure these are both now. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna grab both of these, and I want to move them. Where's my? Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, let me grab the X. Oh, nope, I did not want a full screen inspector, please. I'm gonna grab the X and I'm gonna move it over if I can. Yeah. There we go. And I'm gonna move it so that it's center, or the edges are on the center of the anchor object, which is, where are you? Oh, you're way up there. Hold on. Let me set the position to 0, 0. Okay. You find this anchor. I think that should be on center. Let me find. Nope, not quite. I grab you. It should just be 10, because that's half the length. Perfect. Okay. So I've set the anchor to the corner or the side of that of both those health bars, and I can drag that back into the UI. I know I'm going way too fast here. I'm just trying to get this in. And what I've done, what I can do now is if I drag the health anchor scaling, it'll scale properly, right? Or scale from just one side. And so what I'm gonna do with that, I'm gonna grab 2 things. I'm gonna grab the health UI, and we're just gonna make this really simple for ourselves. Let me grab. Let me put this in. Where are my? Oh, I put them in scenes. That's why. Okay. I'm gonna create a new script, and I'm just gonna health UI. I think, right? Oh, no, don't do that to me. Or health UI. Okay, let me go to that, and I'll paste this. Okay. Oh man. Save that. Okay, perfect. So now. Go to hierarchy. I'm gonna set this up and then I'll go back over it. Only because I'm not sure how much time I'm gonna have, so I'd rather have it all set up and then I can just watch you guys do it and make sure we have it right. Health UI. Anchor. Okay. And then I'm going to just set the buttons to a new event. I'll show you all this in a second. Unfortunately, I have the unfortunate reality that I have to move super fast to make time for us. I'm going to just say set size, and then I'm going to just say 0.5. And then I'm also going to grab this button and then say the same thing, but I'm going to set it to 1. If I do scene, health anchor, I do health UI, set size, I'm going to set this to 1. Cool. I'm going to play that real quick so I can just show you what it does. So what we've done is now when we click a button, it'll set the health to things. I'll go ahead and show you guys what I've done for that. I have 30 minutes to teach it. Let me find the best way to do it. So we should by now have all of our character buttons set up. Let me see where you guys are at. Are we all sort of unanimously where Michael's at, where he has the health anchor and the bars, but he doesn't have it aligned? All right, no worries. So what I've done is I have two sprites. I'm going to go over that again. Let's start there. So I made two 2D objects. I'm going to go to sprites, and I made a square. And so I scaled up that square to the size of 20. And that was just for quick maths. I'll show you why. Because if I make two squares, which are these two things here, I've colored one green, one gray, and then I set the green one to the order and layer of 1. So it always overlaps the gray one. And I'll stop there. Let's make sure we're all there if we can't be. Cool. And then I've made an empty game object, so I just double clicked in here, said create empty, and then I made both of these children of it, so I grabbed both of these and dragged onto Health Anchor. And what I did after that is I would say make sure the sizes of your bars or the scales of your X on both your bars are 20 or something, like just an easily divisible number by 2. Because you want to set the position of all these to 0, 0, and you want to take your scale, divide it by 2 for the X transform. And the reason for that is so it's aligned with the anchor's side. So you see this little XYZ thing I have here with the green and red arrow. That's the position of the anchor. And so it'll scale from the edges of the anchor to the... or it'll scale out from the anchor, basically. And so if you scale the anchor, it'll drag itself in. Normally, it'll go from both sides. Like if I scaled just this object, it'll deplete from both sides, and we don't want that. So we go ahead and we make the health anchor. Once we have that, what I've done is I grabbed the health UI script, which I should have pasted in Discord. Let me make sure that's there. It's not. Here we go. Let me fix that. Cool. Okay, so that's now in there. There you go. So I grabbed that, and I made a script with that, and I'll show you exactly what that does in a second. But you can, I'm sure you can already imagine that it sets the size. Again, make sure the name's right. And then we have also model behavior in there. Okay, cool. So then I just drag that onto the health anchor that I have up here. And then I make the bar the health anchor of itself. So I have health anchor, and then I said that the bar should be health anchor. And then once we have that, for one, we'll notice, like I said, it'll go from one side, but 2 is we can now go to our character selecting container where we had all these buttons up here in the UI. And if we go, let's just select character button 1. And I'll give you guys a couple seconds to catch up, make sure. Yeah, so go select character button 1 if you can from the hierarchy once you have that bar serialized. Cool. And then, so, let's see. We want to go into the inspector, and we're going to say, go down to button. So go into the actual script that says button. And we're going to make the on-click event here that's that gets triggered. We're gonna add one, and we're gonna set the object. We're gonna search up health bar from the scene. So we should find health anchor, and we're gonna click on that, and we're gonna grab the health UI from where it says no function. We're gonna click scroll down health UI, and I did the set size, and that's right above stop coroutine stop the coroutines functions. And so set size, if you set size to 1, it'll be the full health bar. If you set it to anything below that, it'll take a chunk out of it. And so I set one. I had this one set to 1 just so it can replenish, and then I have the other buttons, which is I did the same thing for. I've gone down and I've said, let me set the health anchor object. I'm going to grab the health UI, and I'm going to set size, and this one I just set to 0.5, so it's half the length of the health bar. But you can set that to whatever value, so long as it's from 0 to 1. And it should deplete the health bar. And so basically what should happen now is if you have both those buttons set up, let me go check with you guys. So yeah, go to health UI once you have the health anchor object selected from the function. Yeah, health UI, and you're looking for set size, which is right above coroutines. There you go. Yeah, and then I just set like I said, I set that one to 1, and then I had one to I set the other one to some other float value. And all it's going to do is just going to set the size of the health bar.
So, it add a second thing too?
Yeah. Well, so you want to go to the other buttons and do the same thing, but you can set you can set the different values. And so you'd want to say add one, and you're going to do the same thing you did before. Just grab the health anchor, and then we're doing health UI for the function, and we're going to set size, and you can set that value to 0 or 1 or anything from 0 to 1. And all it's going to do is just change the size of the health bar. Like I said before, if we play now, we have our arrows that follow, and also if we click the actual buttons themselves, it'll set the health of those. If it actually clicks, it should set the health of those things. So yeah,
Health bar to actually be.
What's up?
I have to move my health bar to actually be in the.
Oh yeah, make sure
camera.
it's in the camera range. I should specify. Otherwise, you won't be able to see it.
No.
I'll be uploading. I'll share this GitHub link with you for the finished project, so you guys can go back in and implement the rest yourself, or even implement extra features. Let's see.
It's something terribly wrong.
Yeah, let me see what do you got going on.
I see it changing.
Oh yeah, it's very
Very tiny.
yeah. Can I see? It's kind of difficult.
It's 5 times as big.
Make sure you said the anchor scaling that right. Okay, that works. That's fine. So set the anchor scale. That's what happened. So since scale is from 1 to 5 instead of, because you've set the health scale to 5, it's gonna try and do a float value from 1 to 0, and since you have it set to 5, it's not gonna scale correctly. And so if you go ahead and stop playing real quick, and I'll show you how to fix that. So go to where it says the scale. Yeah, make sure that the scaling of the actual bars themselves can be adjusted. I would adjust the scale of the anchor. Make the scale of the anchor one all around. and then go to the bars, and then you could change the scaling of the bars to like 20 or whatever. Cool. Okay, and then that should. I'm trying to think. That should be okay.
Still tiny.
No, still mad at you?
What's your red? Let me try making these even bigger. Say 80 by 4. This 80 by 4. Make it a little bigger, but
Yeah. Let's do this.
might have attached
Let me see.
the wrong part.
One thing I am noticing is, can you go to your click on your health anchor? So okay, so that's immediately a problem, I think. So go to the click on both your health bars.
Yeah.
And what's the scale of both your health bars here?
I just put them up to 80.
Okay, then
By
move
4.
the position of X. So select both of them. You can click on one, then Control click on the other, and that'll select both of them. If you click on that, go to Inspector and adjust the X position so that both the X's are half of your scale. So if your scale is 80, make it 40. Make the X position 40. Then what you want to do from there is move your health anchor, not the bars, the health anchor back into position. And so that'll make it so that it actually fits the what is it? It scales from one side. So let's see. I'm still noticing. Hold on, your health anchor is still in the center. It should be on the side.
Do I need to do like?
So the health anchor should be fine. It's the health bar you want to move. So you moved to 40 already. Trying to see. Try to do it so that when you click on the health anchor, make it so that your health bars, see that little transform for a health anchor, your health bars should be on the very edge of that. Like I'll show you on my screen. So if you see on my screen, my transform for the anchor is to the side of it. So this is the entire bar. It's not in the center. It's to the side of it, and that's the important part about health bars because that makes it scale from the side instead of from the center.
That's had the wrong thing plugged in to the script.
Gotcha.
Really now.
I'm gonna work on uploading the GitHub while we're doing. Let me grab the. Oh, it's really right here. Okay. I think I have to do this from the online browser, right? Hold on. GitHub. I would love to teach more, but I think if I started something right now, we wouldn't be able to finish it. So I'm gonna consider the meeting adjourned. Thank you everyone for stopping in. And if you have questions, please. I know there's a huge thing of you can't ask questions because you're afraid of it being dumb or I don't know. Whatever the case is, it's not true for me. All right, I'm here to help. The entire point of this club is so you guys actually learn how to game dev, and I've been trying to help out by doing these projects, but I understand they're very hard to follow at times, and so please reach out if you need help. Let me share this with you guys as well. This should be public, so you guys should be able to download it from wherever. Let me find Discord. Let me do code, and then I'll upload this recording as well, so you guys can have some review.